morning everybody. Today we are going to discuss about Hebbian learning. This is the popular algorithm which is used in unsupervised learning. So what do you mean Hebbian learning? Basically it was proposed by a scientist in the year 1947. According to his theory, basically Hebbian learning theory is a neuroscientific theory. What does it indicate? So, increase in synaptic efficacy arises from presynaptic cells repeated and persistent stimulation of first synaptic cell. This was introduced by Donald Hebb in the year 1949. So, if you see the details of this Hebbian learning, if you take cell A, the output of cell A is connected to the axon of that one, carries, and in turn it can excite a cell B. And repeatedly, persistently takes part in firing it, nothing but A in turn firing B. So, what will happen? Some growth process or metabolic changes take place in both the cells, A as well as B. Both the cells it will happen, such that A's efficiency as one of the cells firing B is increased. So, both are linked now. So, what is the conclusion? Cells that fire together, wire together. Now they you can join. So cells that fire together, wire together is the sentence. So that is the Hebbian learning. So A and B now linked together. So if you see the Hebb rule, mathematically how you define, you take input X and output Y. So your input and output are connected with the weights W. So input and outputs are connected with weight W. Now whenever during learning process, change in weight, your change in weight depends upon three parameters. One is learning rate anyway, that is common, alpha. Generally we take some constant. Then it depends upon the input, that is called Xi, and it will also depending on the yz. So that is the way we can change weights continuously. So according to this formula, change in weight ij is equal to alpha learning parameter and input xi, y is the output, that is the yj. So this is the way we can compute the weight, alpha multiplied by x multiplied by y. So what is his idea? Two neurons which are simultaneously active should develop a degree of interaction higher. Suppose when you take two neurons which are simultaneously active should develop a degree of interaction higher, otherwise automatically it is lower. So that is the understanding of the Hebb rule. So that is the way we can change the weights. If you see this slide, you can understand better. Anyway, our slogan is cells that fire together, wire together, is this one. So if two neurons on either side of a connection are actively synchronously, then the weight of that connection is increased, correlated or activated synchronously. Then weight is going to increase. Why? Because your del W becomes high, positive value. Other side, they are activated asynchronously, then the weight of that connection is decreased. Why? Because your change in weight becomes negative. So first case activated synchronously, then weight is going to increase. Activated asynchronously, weight is going to decrease. So Herb's law provides the basis for unsupervised learning. Learning here is a local phenomena occurring without feedback from the environment. We are not taking any feedback from the environment. So if you see the algorithm, you can easily understand. Basically, we set initial weights and threshold to random values in the interval of 0 to 1. That's the general way we consider. Here, activation function taken like this. Output, it can be 1. Your input weights summation exceeding threshold value, you will get the positive one, otherwise negative one. So that is the activation function we are taking. If it is greater than or equal, then you will get positive one, otherwise you will get negative one. So now if you take change in weight, it depends upon learning rate x and y. Now if you see this activation function, output possibility is either plus 1 minus 1. So here you will get plus 1. So automatically your new weight will become higher. Why? Because this is plus 1. Your learning rate multiplied with input, automatically your change in weight is positive. You will get the new weight, that is the added with the previous weight. Suppose y value negative, then it becomes negative. Then your new weight will become less. So that is the importance of activation function, why here we are taking either plus 1 and minus 1. If you take plus 1 and minus 1, what is happening here? Your weight automatically proportional to the input. Why? Because this is either plus 1 and minus 1. So you are designing a weight. Weight purely depends upon the input pattern x. That is the idea of the Hebbian learning. Your change in weight depending upon the input pattern. Why? Because y only possibilities are plus 1 and minus 1. That is the idea of this one. So how you are going to update the new weight? I j plus 1, this is the new weight. Wij is the old weight plus change in Wij. Here this change depends upon the x value. So this x nothing but input. Why? Because only possibilities are plus 1 and minus 1. So this input pattern is stored here in the weights. All input patterns are stored here. Then whenever a new input is given, automatically it is correlating with the existing patterns. Accordingly, we are getting the output. So like this we iterate and we use. So this type of environment we say Hebbian learning algorithm. Basically, this is popular for unsupervised. Now I will explain with one example. Here, four inputs are there: x1, x2, x3, x4. Four weights w1, w2, w3, w4. Here activation function is given like this. If this summation is greater than some threshold, so you will get output either positive one or negative one. And input x1, x2, x3, x4, These are, and weights W1, W2, W3, W4. Initial weights are 1, -1, 0.5. Now you are giving three inputs vectors x1, x2, x3. How weights are going to update? How you are storing these input patterns in the weights, so that whenever you, if you give new pattern, then automatically it gives solution. So now we are training with the input vectors x1, x2, x3. These are the three input vectors. So first we try with x1. X1 input 1, -2, 1.50. According to the algorithm, we take multiplication x star w. So x star w we are doing. When you do x star w, so here w weights 1, -1, 0.5. So weights we are taking 1, -1, 0.5. Nothing but w transpose into x we are doing. That is, in this case, x1 is the input, x1 is applied. So your w we are taking transpose, so 1, -1, 0.5. Input vector 1, -2, 1.50 we are doing. If you multiply this one, 1 and 1, -1 and -2 becomes 2. This is anyway 0, this is 0.5. So this is to 1.5. So this is overall positive value. So positive, our activation function is this one. Our value is positive. So automatically output becomes +1. Otherwise it will become -1. In this example, if you apply x1, it is the positive resultant. So if you apply activation function, that is f, then output becomes +1. So what is the change in weight? Change in weight is nothing but learning rate. In this example it is 1. Xi value, this is the xi value 1, -2, 1.50, and yj, here y value +1, if we take +1. So change in weight is nothing but your x1. Your change in weight is nothing but here x1. This is what you take. Total input pattern is taken as change in weight. Now what is the new weight? New weight is nothing but change in weight plus previous weight. Previous weight 1, -1, 0.5. What is the change in weight? That is the x. First this one 1, -2, 1.5, 0. So here it is positive, so we are adding previous weights 1, -1, 0.5 added with 1, -2, 1.50. You are getting 1 plus 1, 2, -1, -2, -3, 1.5, 0.5. So updated weights after giving the input x1, you are getting like this. Original weights 1, -1, 0.5. Now updated weights 2, -3, 1.5, 0.5. So what does it mean? This within this weight, new weight, this input pattern also available. That is the meaning. Now coming to second step, if you take x2, x2 is 1, -0.5, -2, 1.5. 1, -0.5, -2, 1.5. So what is the previous weights? 2, -3, 1.5, 0.5. So those weights 2, -3, 1.5, 0.5 we are taking. If you do multiplication, this is the 2, -3, 0.5. This is 1.5, 2, 0.5, 1.5. So this resultant, you are getting negative value. Why? Because this is 2 value. This is 1.5, almost you are getting 3.5. Here 3 you are getting. Here around 0.75 you are getting. So negative wise 3.75 you are getting. Positive wise, if you take this is 1.5 and 2, if you take 3, this is 1.5, point 5, and this is 2, this is minus 3, minus 0.5. If you operate this function, you are getting negative value. So after activation, it becomes minus 1. So if it is minus 1, then this is becoming minus x1. So your new weight is updated. Whatever the previous weight we are subtracting here, that is the x2 value. So you are getting once again another new weight. If you take this new weight, then now we are going for third criteria. Third criteria, input x3 is applied. 0, 1, minus 1, 1.5, 0, 1, minus 1, 1.5. Previous weights, if you take 1, minus 2.5, 3.5 and 2. So these weights and this one we have taken. Here 1 into 0, 1. This is minus. This is also minus. This is positive. So negative is dominating. So that negative value operated, this activation function is operated on this negative. Resultant is minus 1. So once again here weight is decremented. How much it is decremented? This input vector value, that much is decremented. Nothing but 0, 1, minus 1, 1.5 is decremented. 0, 1, minus 1, 1.5 is decremented. This is the new weight we have designed, 1, minus 3.5, 4.5, 0.5. So in this weight, all your input patterns during training x1, x2, x3, that information is available in the new weights. So whenever if you apply unknown, this W is multiplied, you will get some output. Why? Because you have learned the things. Learned things are stored as a patterns in the weights. Your learned things stored in the patterns in the form of weights. So automatically you can do the same these weights and you can get the information of unknown input is given. So that is the way Hebbian learning works. This is the another example you take. Here constant is one, learning constant, but here we are taking threshold also. Earlier case we have not taken any threshold, but here we have taken threshold also. So if you are exceeding threshold, then only you can get the response, otherwise it's not. The same way if you proceed like that, you will get a new weight like this 3, 1, 3, 1. Here also weights are updated. Sometimes it will be added, sometimes it will be subtracted. But here in the 1010 case, here you are getting positive, so added. X2 applied, here also you are getting function as positive. Here also weights are added. So finally you are getting the weights. Earlier case we have not taken threshold, here we have taken threshold. That is the only difference. Otherwise algorithm is same, implementation also same. So final, what is the conclusion here? So what do you mean associative memory? We are remembering the relationship between unrelated items. Suppose I am able to recognize you and I am calling you, suppose, Harish. So your face and Harish is tagged. Face is different, Harish is name basically. This is face. Both are unrelated items. Why? Because this is the name. We are writing in alphabet form. This is face, unrelated, but we are keeping as a tag there. So that is the thing. What is happening? Associative memory is defined as the ability to learn and remember the relationship between unrelated items. For example, remembering the name of someone or aroma of a particular perfume. You are naming the perfume based on that smell. So this is what you call is the associative memory. In our brain, we do this processing, associative memory. Suppose there is the green, we go in the traffic. There is the red, we stop. Like that, we are linking the things and we are forming the memory. That is called associative memory. So in associative memory, already in my brain, I have stored your face, your name, and other guy face, other name, like that. So I can identify you, I can retrieve that information. When you come into this one, already your patterns are stored in my brain so that I am able to recognize you. So the same type of theory described by the Hebbian. Already we are doing, but this is kept in a mathematical form by Hebbian learning. That is the Hebbian scientist. We call Hebbian learning. We say associative memory. So this is the overall understanding of associative memory. When you see example auto associative memory, if you give input, you will get this one. The input and output vectors have exactly the same form. This key, same form. This is this type of thing discussion. What you say is the auto associative memory. But second case, if you give this key, it is not only giving key and it is also giving some other information also here. This type of scenario we say hetero-associative memory. Hetero-associative memory can retrieve not only object descriptions of the same form but potentially also a wider range of patterns, still satisfying some measure of similarity with respect to a partial description. That is nothing but you have given only key, partial description you have, but it is giving this one. So this type of scenarios we say hetero-associative memory. This type of scenario we say auto-associative memory. Later, Hebbian even proposed a supervised mechanism, but it's not so popular. But for you understanding only, I am keeping this slide here. Earlier, here X was there, but here that is replaced by T, target. So this is the supervised learning mechanism proposed by Hebbian. But this is not in practice. Hebbian learning is popular for unsupervised learning. So this is what you say auto associative memory. The desired output is equivalent to the input vector. We will use an auto associative memory to store a set of patterns and then to recall these patterns even when corrupted patterns are provided as input. Even though you give some corrupted pattern as input, at the end of auto associative memory application, this Hebbian learning application, you will get the right pattern, even though that is damaged. Suppose if I take your face, your name already stored in my brain. Suppose without shaving, after 1 month you come into my notice, shall I recognize you or not? Yes, I can recognize you. How? That is the thing happening associated to memory. Even when corrupted patterns are provided as input, but I can recall the actual pattern. So that is the idea of the Hebbian learning. So Hebbian learning popular for unsupervised, but namesake they have proposed even supervised also. Later supervised, some more popular supervised algorithms come into the picture. So this is popular for unsupervised. So thank you for attending this session. Thanks for your attention.